The show actually got okay reviews when it aired. It had terrible ratings. It was like number 58 or something like that out of 65 shows.
At 91 years old, Jamie Farr, known to millions as Corporal Klinger on MASH, has finally shared what truly went on behind the scenes of the famous show. For years, fans thought they knew every story about the laughter, friendship, and fun that made MASH so special. But Farr's new confession reveals hidden moments of struggle, emotion, and truth that few ever knew about. His words have revealed what really happened when the cameras stopped rolling. What could be so surprising that it stayed secret for more than 40 years? Join us in this video as we reveal the details. Jamie Farr confirms what happened on MASH set. Jamie Farr, from the famous TV show MASH, shared a very emotional story about the final days of filming and what really happened behind the scenes. He began by talking about the show's last episode, Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen. He said it was one of the hardest weeks they ever had together. The whole cast and crew were surrounded by a flood of reporters, cameras, and interviews from newspapers, magazines, TV, and radio. Everyone wanted to talk to them as the show was coming to an end, but they still had to keep working on filming. He said it was difficult to balance all the attention with the sadness of saying goodbye. He even admitted that sometimes he tries not to think about that time because it still feels heavy and sad to remember. The actor explained something that many fans didn't know. Even though Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen was the last episode that aired on TV, it wasn't the last one they filmed. The final episode they worked on was actually called Time Capsule. During the filming of that episode, something shocking happened. The MASH set at the Malibu Ranch caught fire. The crew had been filming late at night when the Malibu fire spread toward them. They were forced to run for safety in a hurry. Luckily, everyone got out just in time, but the fire burned everything behind them. The actor said that the set was completely destroyed. It melted the jeeps, tanks, and trucks that had been used as props for years. After the fire, the production team had to rebuild everything so they could finish filming. They found a new location at Lake Sherwood, a place that would later become known for the golf course built by Jack Nicklaus, and later played by Tiger Woods. It was there that they shot the final scenes of the show, completing what had become one of the most loved series in television history. Some people think Jamie Farr is talking about what happened on the MASH set now, because at 91, he feels it's the right time to tell the truth. After so many years, he may want fans to know what really went on behind the laughter, the hard times, the emotions, and the strong friendships that made the show special. Others believe he is sharing these memories to honor his friends from the cast and keep their stories alive before they are forgotten. As the fire died down and the final scenes were completed, one question remained. How could the cast preserve the deep bond they had built after all those unforgettable years together? Stay tuned for more. The Lost Time Capsule. During the making of the Time Capsule episode, the story on screen showed the characters burying a box filled with personal items from their time in the Korean War. That moment gave one of the cast members a real-life idea. He suggested that they should do the same thing in reality, to create an actual time capsule filled with items from their years working on MASH. Everyone liked the idea. They thought it would be a meaningful way to remember their time together and maybe surprise people in the future if the box was ever found. They decided to do it late at night after everyone else had left the studio. The group wanted to make it private and special. They chose to bury the box near the commissary on the 20th Century Fox lot, thinking that part of the studio would always remain in the same place. One of the prop men helped by digging a large hole, and the rest of the cast brought small items that meant something to them. They found a watertight Red Cross box to use for the capsule, and they carefully placed their chosen items inside it. The night of the burial turned into a small celebration. They brought along champagne to make a toast and invited Arlene Alda, the wife of MASH star Alan Alda, to come and take photographs. The actor said Arlene was a wonderful photographer and that she captured the whole event. They took turns saying a few words about what the items meant to them, then sealed the box shut. After that, they placed it in the ground, covered it with soil, and raised their glasses to raise a toast to all the years they had spent working together. They felt proud and happy that they had created something that might one day be found by someone else, maybe many years later, who would discover the memories of the MASH, cast hidden underground. Sadly, things did not turn out as they had hoped. Sometime later, the studio began a major renovation, and the area near the commissary was part of the construction zone. A bulldozer working on the site went straight over the place where the capsule had been buried. The worker had no idea what was under the ground. He dug through the soil and accidentally destroyed the box, throwing it away with the rest of the dirt. The cast never got the chance to recover any of the items. The actors said that the moment they heard what happened, everyone felt disappointed. What they thought would be a lasting symbol of their time together was now gone forever. Even though the box was lost, the memory of that night still remained special. The actor explained that Arlene Alda's photographs from that night still exist, and they are likely the only proof that the MASH time capsule was ever buried. Those photos show the cast smiling, laughing, and celebrating one last time together. Even though the capsule itself is gone, the story behind it continues to live on as one of the most touching and forgotten moments in Hollywood history. The actor said he still wishes it had survived so future generations could have seen what they left behind. But at least the photos remind them of how special that night truly was. After the final goodbye, who were the people that truly made MASH the family everyone remembers? Keep watching to find out. Jamie Farr remembers the cast that became family. In his warm and honest memories of MASH, Jamie Farr shared how the cast worked together like a true family. He said that Alan Alda was the heart of the show, someone who could act, write, direct, and even produce. Farr said Alda was not only very talented, but also kind and generous to everyone. When the show first began, it was meant to be an ensemble, where everyone had equal importance. But as the years went on, Alda naturally became what Farr called the linchpin, the one who held everything together. Farr remembered how producer Burt Metcalf used to say, "I've got 7 birdies to feed," meaning that he tried to give every actor enough time on screen. Farr said Alda always supported that idea and wanted to make sure the whole team felt valued. He explained that some episodes focused more on one group of characters, while others gave attention to different ones. Everyone knew it was fair, and no one felt left out. Farr said Alda's leadership made the work feel like fun, instead of just a job. Talking about Wayne Rogers, who played Trapper John, Farr said he was an absolute delight. Wayne and Alan had great chemistry both on and off screen. Even though Rogers later left the show, Farr said there was never any bad feeling between them. Rogers just wanted to do something different in his career because he felt that the writing focused more on Alda's character, Hawkeye, and less on Trapper John. Despite that, the two men stayed close friends for life. Farr then spoke fondly about McLean Stevenson, who played Colonel Henry Blake. He called him a joy to work with because Stevenson had such a great sense of humor and imagination. Farr said he could make everyone laugh just by talking about something simple. He believed Stevenson was very talented and underrated as an actor. He also talked about Larry Linville, who played Major Frank Burns. Farr said Larry was absolutely brilliant in that role, but in real life, he was nothing like his character. Larry was a smart man with a background in engineering and even built gliders. Farr said he admired his intelligence and the way he brought such a strong, funny performance to the show. Gary Berghoff, who played Radar O'Reilly, was another favorite of Farr's. He called Gary an absolute delight and said he added a special kind of charm to MASH. Farr mentioned how Gary's small habits, like clutching his teddy bear or drinking grape Nehi, made his character feel warm and real. When Berghoff left the show, Farr said it was hard to lose him because he brought something no one else could. Loretta Swett, who played Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, also earned Jamie's deep respect. He said she was professional, funny, and ready to go the moment the camera was set. Unlike many female stars, Loretta didn't waste time fixing her hair or makeup. Farr also remembered William Christopher, who played Father Mulcahy, with affection. He described him as charming, kind, and gentle. Farr laughed as he said the cast would sometimes imitate Christopher's high-pitched voice, but always with love. He said Christopher brought gentleness and kindness to the show, which gave it balance. When talking about the actors who joined later, Farr praised Mike Farrell and David Ogden Stiers, saying both brought something special that kept the show fresh. They fit right into the group as if they had been there from the beginning. Finally, Farr spoke with great warmth about Harry Morgan, who played Colonel Sherman Potter. He called Morgan brilliant and said he was like a real father figure to everyone. After Morgan passed away, the cast shared many touching memories online about how much he had meant to them. For Farr, MASH was never just a TV show. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience with people who became family. Beyond the laughter and unforgettable moments on set, what deeper lessons did Jamie Farr carry with him? And how has his legacy continued to shape the spirit of MASH decades later? Let's learn more. Jamie Farr's legacy, the enduring heart and spirit of MASH. One name always comes to mind when talking about the greatness of MASH, the popular television show that mixed grief and humor. Jamie Farr. Farr, who is most known for his amazing role of Corporal Maxwell Q. Klinger, did more than just make people laugh. He showed the world the human side of friendship, suffering, and conflict. His stay on MASH came to stand for the deep effect that television can have on people's lives. Though it began as a comedy set during the Korean War, MASH quickly grew into something much more when it started in 1972. Even while the show dealt with death, principle, and the price of war, it did so in a way that was both funny and heart-touching. Because it showed soldiers as humans trying to survive a hard situation with comedy and love, rather than as heroes or villains, it captured fans worldwide. With his odd clothes and funny jokes, Jamie Farr's Klinger rose to fame as one of the most loved characters on TV. Although Klinger was only meant to be in one episode, his character stayed because fans loved him, and Farr's unique sweetness made him memorable. MASH had a cultural impact that had never been seen before. It turned into a mirror for its era, serving as a reminder that troops were people with hopes and feelings, especially during and after the Vietnam War. The show's final episode in 1983 drew over 105 million viewers, making it one of the most-watched events in television history. Even today, decades later, MASH continues to be broadcast and streamed worldwide. For many viewers, it remains a comfort show, a story that makes them laugh, cry, and think all at once. Jamie Farr has said in interviews that he still receives letters from doctors, nurses, and veterans who say that MASH helped them heal or inspired their careers. To him, that connection is the show's real reward. But Farr's success didn't come easily. Growing up in Toledo, Ohio, as the son of Lebanese immigrants, he faced both cultural and financial challenges. He once said that his faith and mentors helped him stay grounded through tough times. Two people in particular, comedians Red Skelton and Danny Thomas, changed his life. Skelton taught him the art of timing and how to find laughter even in sadness. Danny Thomas, who was also of Lebanese descent, became a personal role model for Farr. Thomas's kindness and faith inspired Farr to see his work as something more than show business, as a way to help others. Thomas founded St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and Farr became one of its lifelong supporters. He often shared how, during his struggling years, he prayed to St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes. Soon after, his career began to rise, a moment he has always seen as proof that faith and persistence pay off. To this day, Farr credits his mentors not just for helping him in his career, but for shaping the person he became. He often speaks about humility, compassion, and laughter as the three pillars that have guided his life. Those lessons became the same values that MASH carried for its audience: empathy, humor, and humanity. Even after 50 years, the spirit of MASH has not faded. Jamie Farr says it endures because it was never just about war. It was about people. Each character represented a side of the human experience: fear, courage, love, and hope. The show managed to turn pain into purpose and laughter into healing. Farr believes that's why new generations still discover it and fall in love with it. The themes remain timeless, just like the friendships it portrayed. To him, MASH was more than a show. It was a family, and that family continues to live in the hearts of millions. Now, at over 90 years old, Jamie Farr remains active, cheerful, and thankful. He continues to support charities, attend fan events, and encourage others to follow their dreams. He always says that kindness and humor are what keep him young. He is seen by fans as one of the rare celebrities who honestly enjoys every second of his fame. Farr has kept his friendliness and honesty over his decades in Hollywood. Never lose your sense of humor, your faith, or your hope is his direct yet impactful message to the world. There is more to Jamie Farr's legacy than his popular outfits, one-liners, or jokes. It's the reminder that laughter can heal, kindness can inspire, and faith can guide even the hardest journeys. Beyond the friendships and lasting legacy of the cast, what really happened behind the scenes of MASH? Let's find out. Behind the camera, the real struggles, sounds, and souls of MASH. Aside from the laughter and emotional scenes of MASH, there were many unsaid stories filled with issues, challenges, and strong feelings. While fans saw a group of soldiers joking and surviving in the middle of war, the real issues always happened behind the camera. The cast and crew worked hard under pressure, trying to keep the show real, funny, and deeply human at the same time. The makers of MASH wanted every small detail to look as real as possible. That was why they used real military items from both the Korean and Vietnam Wars. The tents, the army trucks, and even the tools in the surgery room were all authentic. Many of these items were borrowed from official military sources. The set looked and felt the same like the real thing, according to real war veterans who visited. The writers, some of whom had been in the military themselves, drew on their personal experiences to tell stories that caught the humor and sorrow of war. MASH distanced itself from other shows of its era by focusing on feelings and truth. But there were a lot of issues with keeping things so real. Filming outdoors in California was not easy. The weather could change quickly, with the sun burning down one time and rain pouring the next. The actors had to keep working through it all, which always made everyone tired and stressed. There were also creative disagreements. Alan Alda, who played Hawkeye Pierce, became one of the main writers and directors as the show went on. While many loved his ideas, others thought their views were being pushed aside. Characters were sometimes just written out, and plots were sometimes changed at the last minute. Tension rose from this, but the team held on for 11 successful seasons because they loved the show. The extras that showed up in the background also added to MASH's realistic feel. Korean Americans from the Los Angeles region made up a big part of them. They played troops, villagers, and hospital patients. Although they didn't have speaking roles, these extras, always referred to as spear carriers in Hollywood, helped the scenes look more real. It was a rare chance for many to work on a big American television show. They worked long hours and helped create a world that looked true to them. Even though they were not paid as much as the main stars, their presence made the series more real and respectful to the culture it showed. One of the most memorable parts of MASH is its haunting theme song. It first appeared in the 1970 MASH movie, written by composer Johnny Mandel. The song's lyrics were written by a young teenager, the son of producer Larry Gelbart. When the TV show was created, the producers decided to use only the melody without the words. The tune was simple but emotional, perfectly matching the show's mix of sadness, laughter, and irony. The song took over a decade to get full approval for use, but once it did, it became one of the most recognized TV themes in history. The slow, bittersweet tune reminded viewers that even in laughter, war was still painful and tragic. Despite the many problems behind the scenes, the effort and dedication of everyone involved made MASH unforgettable. The use of real military items gave it weight and truth. The Korean extras brought life and realism to every frame. The emotional theme song gave it a voice that never faded. Even the arguments and creative fights played a part in shaping what the show became. Something more than just a comedy. It was a story about people trying to stay kind, hopeful, and funny in a world filled with pain. In the end, MASH became a rare kind of show, one that could make people laugh and cry at the same time. Every challenge behind the camera added to the truth of what appeared on screen. It showed that even in the hardest times, humor and humanity could survive side by side. That lasting message is what keeps MASH alive in people's hearts decades after the final episode aired. Before Jamie Farr became the beloved Corporal Klinger on MASH, how did a young boy from Toledo with big dreams and humble beginnings find his way into the unpredictable world of Hollywood? Let's take a closer look. Jamie Farr, from humble beginnings to Hollywood dreams. Jamie Farr, who won international fame as Corporal Maxwell Q. Klinger from MASH, spent a life shaped by hard work, an honest faith, and a high passion for his career. His story was about more than just acting. It was about hope, family, and staying positive in the face of challenges. Farr's life shows that a man from small beginnings might achieve great things while keeping a sense of kindness and thankfulness. On July 1, 1934, he was born Jamil Farr in Toledo, Ohio, a place that would always have a special place in his heart. His parents were hardworking, honest Lebanese-American immigrants who wanted to provide a better life for their kids. Jamie grew up helping his father run his little grocery store, which he owned. Though it was not always simple, life was full of laughter, love, and the lessons of family and faith. He learned the real meaning of duty, patience, and thankfulness from his parents, who put in a lot of overtime. Farr had a skill for storytelling and humor, even as a young child. One of the most important events in his early life happened when he entered a local acting competition at the age of 11 and won $2. He was happy after that little victory, which showed him that acting could be more than just fun. It could also be a means of keeping relationships. It turned into a dream that would last a lifetime. After that day, Jamie pushed himself in community theater, church plays, and school productions, enjoying himself each time he took the stage. He made the bold choice to attend the Pasadena Playhouse, one of the most popular acting schools at the time, in California to study acting after leaving high school. He had little money and few contacts, but he was serious and focused, so the transfer was not easy. Farr joined the cutthroat world of entertainment with big goals but little security after graduating from the Pasadena Playhouse in California to chase acting. Hollywood in the 1950s was overflowing with ambitious young performers, many of whom never made it beyond small parts or uncredited roles. Farr was no exception. His early years were marked by constant auditions, brief appearances, and long stretches of unemployment. Still, he refused to let rejection defeat him. In California, Jamie learned the craft of acting from the ground up. He faced rejection after rejection, but he never gave up. Farr's first small break came in the movie Blackboard Jungle 1955, where he had a minor role. Though it wasn't fame yet, it gave him confidence to keep trying. Still, the years that followed were filled with struggle. Jobs were scarce, and Farr worked several side jobs to stay afloat. He helped on a chinchilla farm, worked as an airline clerk, and took any small role he could find. Then, when he was drafted into the U.S. in 1957, his life took another turn. During his military service, Farr was sent to Korea and Japan, where he worked as a broadcast specialist, creating radio programs for soldiers stationed overseas. This experience not only helped him mature, but also gave him insight into the real life of soldiers during wartime. Ironically, this same experience would later help him bring authenticity to his famous MASH character, Corporal Klinger. Farr was one of the few cast members who had actually served during the Korean War, giving his performance a level of realism that viewers could feel. After finding his footing in Hollywood and overcoming the early struggles of his career, what moment finally pushed Jamie Farr from a struggling actor to a television icon loved around the world? Let's delve deeper. The legacy, challenges, and lasting love of Jamie Farr. When MASH first began, Farr's part was supposed to be small. His character, Corporal Klinger, was a man pretending to be insane by dressing in women's clothes to try to get discharged from the army. As the years went on, Farr's character grew deeper and more complex. Klinger wasn't just a man in dresses trying to escape the war. He became a symbol of hope, humanity, and survival. His humor came from desperation, but his heart came from truth. Farr played him with honesty, and audiences saw that. Through Klinger, Farr helped television viewers of the 70s see a new kind of character. Someone who was funny and compassionate, brave and sensitive, and full of heart. Beyond the laughter, Farr's work on MASH carried cultural meaning. As a Lebanese American, he was one of the few actors of Middle Eastern heritage in major American television at the time. His success opened doors for others and showed that diversity could be part of mainstream storytelling. His portrayal also carried a quiet strength, showing that a man could be both gentle and strong, a message that still resonates today. When MASH ended in 1983, Farr faced what many actors do after long success: the question of what comes next. Being so closely tied to Klinger made it difficult to find new roles at first. Yet Farr refused to give up. He appeared in movies like The Cannonball Run and Scrooged, and on TV shows like The Love Boat and That 70s Show. He also returned to his first love, the stage, acting in theater productions around the country. Working in front of a live audience reminded him of his early days in community plays and brought him back to his roots as a performer. Life, however, brought challenges. Farr battled rheumatoid arthritis, a painful condition that sometimes made it difficult to move. He had heart surgery after falling on stage during a performance in 2014. But he stayed strong and grateful, regardless of his sickness. He continued to share his stories and laugh whenever he could, and he never stopped smiling for his followers. Everyone who knew him was inspired by his bravery and hope. Jamie Farr was never alone through all the highs and lows. His beloved wife, Joy Ann Richards, whom he married in 1963, provided for him. Their marriage lasted for more than 60 years, a rare and beautiful thing in Hollywood. Joy was his buddy, his greatest friend, his rock, and his solid ally. Together, they brought up a loyal family and even wrote Hab's Christmas Eve, a children's book, in 2003. The novel showed Farr's love of storytelling, family, and tradition, and was formed by his Lebanese root and faith. The story of Jamie Farr is one of courage, love, and faith. He rose from a small neighborhood in Ohio to become one of television's most loved stars, but he never forgot where he came from. Millions of people were touched by his honesty and sense of humor. Farr kept his humility through it all, always saying that everyone who had faith in him, from Red Skelton to his parent, were responsible for his success. Regardless of the hard times he had in his early career, they acted as the basis for the realness and warmth that won over audiences for decades to come. Before Jamie Farr talked about it, many fans had no idea how much work, sacrifice, and working together went into making MASH a reality. His behind-the-scenes ideas gave viewers a fresh understanding of the show's heart and realness, showing the long hours, tragic events, and real military influence that shaped it. Even after all these years, his legacy continues to shine through his work, his words, and his example. A reminder that kindness, perseverance, and faith can light the path through even the toughest times. What do you think about the MASH show? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity stories. See you there.